let's take an unconventional approach to the Seattle Seahawks draft in 2025. What's going on, everybody? Good morning. It is Wednesday, so it's time for another shot at a mock draft. This is going to be mock draft version 8.0. And when you make a lot of mock drafts, which is certainly what we're doing right now, eventually you start getting a little bit unconventional. You want to explore different things. You want to examine different angles. So this mock draft is going to definitely approach things in a way that some people are not going to be super understanding of or into, but I want to explore the space here. This video is powered by BetUS, more on them a little bit later. But yeah, we're going to do things a little bit unconventionally this time around. Before we get into the picks, though, I want to say I'm going to be streaming tonight over on the Bleacher Report. The link is going to be on the community tab. It's already there. I'll post it again later. So if you're not already on Bleacher Report, they recently updated their app. So download it, get an account, and get ready for tonight's stream. Going to be 6 o'clock Pacific. So probably right after dinner, I'm going to go live. We're going to talk about the Seahawks for half an hour, just whatever's on anyone's mind. We can talk about Seahawks related, football related. So tune in and get ready for it. I'll probably make another video right before I go live, but try to be there. We're going to have some fun. I know it's the off season, but stuff is about to start happening. We're just a couple weeks away from free agency at this point. All right. So, mock draft, once again, I'm assuming the Seahawks are going to get their compensatory picks from the NFL. We don't technically know for sure what those picks will be, but we have a very good idea. We can safely assume what the picks are going to be, so I included them. Second of all, I get the approximate player value from NFL Mock Draft Database. So if you're wondering why I think this player is worth this, that's why. Okay, so mock draft version 8.0, first round pick. Malaki Starks, the safety out of Georgia, the Bulldog. So this one is going to confuse some people, I know, because especially during this time of year, for some reason, everybody starts looking at the draft in terms of need and need alone, and they forget about trying to get the best players and figuring out the rest later. When getting the best players and figuring out the rest later is typically the strategy that pays off the most, and it's the one that will ultimately produce the best results. So, Malaki Starks, clearly the best safety in this class, likely future superstar in this league. Really, really awesome career with the Bulldogs. Had a lot of success making playoff runs. And this last year, they, of course, made the playoff. The year before that, they barely missed. The year before that, they were national champions. So, Malaki Starks, as a first-round pick, becomes your long-term safety of the future for McDonald to work with. So, Malaki Starks, his first year, probably going to be a third safety. You've got Julian Love, and by the way, Julian Love's under contract for an extended period of time, not going anywhere. And then you got Kobe Bryant for one more year. So for that first year, Malaki Starks is your third safety. You're getting him experience. You're rotating him in. You're trying him out in different areas. He can do a lot of different things for a defense. And then he's ready to hit the ground running in year 2 as a starting safety. And you've got your Kyle Hamilton. You've got a superstar in the making at the safety spot. He can do it all. A lot of exciting stuff about Starks. So it's unconventional, but I'm telling you guys right now that there is a lot of appeal here, and I think McDonald will see it that way as well. So that's your round 1 pick. Round number 2, we have Gray Zabel. Gray Zabel, interior offensive lineman of North Dakota State. One of those small school guys that is really running up the draft boards in recent times, although his Senior Bowl was up and down. The practices were great, the game not so much. But I still think he's probably a second-round pick. If he does well at the combine, he could bump up to a first-round pick by the time we actually get to the draft. But for now, I think he's got a shot at being there around 50. Maybe you'd have to trade up a few spots. But, the thing with Gray Zabel is that he's going to offer a lot of utility value. He played tackle in college. I don't think he's going to be able to play tackle very well in the NFL. But left guard or center, I don't know. He could be both. He could be either. He could provide depth at both spots. He's somebody who looks like he's fairly ready to go in the NFL when he enters the NFL. So I've kind of come around on him. He was not a guy on my radar through most of the season. I thought he was going to be an NFL left tackle because he was a little bit on the smaller side, but it looks like everybody and their mother is expecting Zabel to transition to the interior. We just don't know if it's going to be left guard or center. And the Seahawks could use either. It depends on how they view Christian Haynes. Maybe Zabel and Christian Haynes are going to battle it out, and one guy's going to get the center job, one guy's going to get the left guard job. So if that's the way it plays out, then I imagine things have a very good chance of working out pretty well for the Seahawks interior in 2025. And I think we'd be doing quite well if we pick that guy up in the middle of the second round. Again, by the time we get there, you might have to trade up a little bit to get him, but I might be open to that. Again, we've taken a safety in the first round here, which I support, I think is a good idea, but if you're going to do that, you need to come back and make sure you're taking care of the necessities then, because taking a safety, no matter how good a pick it is a luxury pick. All right, round 3 now. Kyle Kennard, the edge rusher out of South Carolina, is going to be my final day 2 pick. This is a guy who I've gotten a lot of comments on over the last couple of years. Fun edge rusher, should be able to be really effective in McDonald's scheme. I believe he's a little bit on the bigger side. Obviously, that's something that can easily change when he hits the NFL. He could slim down, could get bigger, whatever. But the point is, Kyle Kennard is going to provide some pretty good value for the Seattle Seahawks. I think he could immediately be a fourth edge that plays a handful of snaps a game. And we're going to eventually need him to probably step into a bigger role, and I think he has a chance to move into that. So Kyle Kennard of South Carolina, a name that has been on the lips of a lot of Seahawks fans, so I'm pretty on board with that. All right, so before we get into day 3 here, I do want to talk about BetUS, my buddies over there. There is still a lot of sports betting that you can do. You can go over there right now. You can start betting on Heisman Trophy lines. You can bet on MVP lines. You can bet on who's going to go where. Where is Aaron Rodgers going to go? Where is this player going to go? Where's that player going to go? You can bet on the NFL draft. You can bet on baseball coming up soon. Bet on basketball. Bet on hockey. There's still a lot of sports gambling to do over on BetUS. Check them out. Use promo code YouTube150 to get a 150% deposit bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000, and then a 125% deposit bonus on your next 2 deposits up to $2,000. So give BetUS a go for all your gambling needs and make sure you get your free money. Okay, back to the mock draft here. Round 4, again, moving into day 3 now. Danny Stutzman. Little bit of a dicey fit, I will admit, because he is a smaller, more athletic, and speedier linebacker. But I don't know if McDonald would particularly object to such a thing, especially if you're looking at it as a backup linebacker. Because as a backup linebacker, which is what Stutzman would be right now, you would mostly play special teams. And I think Stutzman is going to be great on special teams. So if you're looking at locking up Ernest Jones long-term, which I still think that we will, and you've got Tyrese Knight on a rookie deal for another few years, Stutzman is not somebody who is imminently going to become a crucial part of your defense. He's going to be depth, and he's going to be a special teamer. I think in that role he could be excellent, and his athleticism and speed might make him a passing down defender that you bring on in place of somebody like an Ernest Jones, who is not great on passing downs, who doesn't have elite coverage abilities. I think Stutzman could be that coverage linebacker that you're looking for in those situations to get Jones off the field. All right, round 5, I'm going with my tight end here. I am rolling the dice just a little bit by waiting this long on a tight end, but this is about as far as I can push it without feeling like I'm just going to miss out here. Jake Briningstool of Clemson. I have had my eye on him for a little while now. I don't see much superstar potential there, but he does have a relatively well-balanced game. I think he can block, which is going to be the most important thing. We need Briningstool to be a capable blocker, and I think he can at least be that. Not much in the passing game, but I don't think that's going to be super important because I think A.J. Barner is probably going to be good enough at that stuff. So Jake Brennenstuhl becomes your tight end 2, unless you sign a veteran, which is still very possible. But I think you're doing pretty well there. I think that takes care of the tight end need. You can get a tight end 3 pretty much anywhere. You can bring back Brady Russell. You can go get like Westover. I don't think he's on a team right now, so not that hard to take care of. But you can't go light at the tight end position if you're going to have Clint Kubiak on your coaching staff, I don't think. All right, round 6. I finally go for a receiver. It's Ja'Cory Brooks. And I think this would be doing very well for ourselves if we're able to get Ja'Cory Brooks in the 6th, because I think he could fill the need that we have at the receiver spot with Metcalf and JSN. And then you've got Brooks as like your number 3, who doesn't play a ton and is mostly just asked to provide a decent boundary threat, which I think he can do. This is a guy who has proven he can play on the outside. He should be a perimeter player, which is ultimately what we need here. And we're not going to ask the world of him as a rookie. He's going to be asked to just provide a competent kind of distraction. I am sure that he's going to be like a 4th or 5th option in the passing game on most plays. And it's cool. It's cool. There's nothing wrong with it. He's going to provide decent perimeter level receiver play. And that's all we're going to need. So you can see that I've waited on pass catchers until rounds 5 and 6, which I don't love, but this is about as far as I can push it while still feeling like I did okay, right? I think that this is about as far as we can go without starting to get to the point where things are uncomfortable. You might need to supplement this by going into UDFA and getting Jalen Conyers from, I think it's Arizona. It's either Arizona or Arizona State. Sorry, I get the two confused. But he might be your 3rd tight end and kind of surrogate fullback. That might bring the room together a little bit. That might bring things together to the point where you would be in pretty good shape going into 2025, and you would be able to give Kubiak what he needs without a big expenditure of resources. So at this point, I feel like you're pretty set. You have another 6th round pick. I'm going with a nose tackle, which is something that I kind of ignored over the first 6 rounds, 6 picks total. So Stackhouse, his draft stock has plummeted recently. He's not really a standout player, but he is a capable nose tackle. He can play a handful of snaps a game, and he gives you someone who can at least hold up in there. You might have to go out and sign somebody in free agency to supplement this and make it work, but I do think you could get 15 to 20 snaps out of him a game, and that gets you pretty close to half of the way there. You don't need a nose tackle on every snap. On passing downs, you're not going to have a true nose tackle out there, so that gets you most of the way there. Maybe you can squeeze some snaps out of Cam Young, and then maybe the rest of the snaps you just say, hey, hopefully Murphy's good enough, even though it's not really his position, and you're kind of trying to skate by at the nose tackle position, but sometimes that's okay. That's understandable. All right, round 7, final pick, Joshua Gray. He's one of the few guys in this mock draft that I had picked in a previous mock that I'm also picking in this mock. These other guys, mostly guys that I have not looked at before. So we tried to mix it up a lot, but Joshua Gray comes back as a very appealing late round option at left guard. He's an actual left guard. He played it at Oregon State. He's a pretty decent enough player, and I think he'll actually play left guard at the NFL level. So you can get him in the 7th round. He'll slide into the backup role, and I think you're in good shape. So we took a little bit of a different path to get there. I ignored pass catchers until the 5th round. I went with an edge rusher in the top 100. I took a safety in the 1st round. I know these are not necessarily extremely conventional selections, but I think it gets us to a really good place on that path anyway. So let me know what you guys think. This is Mock Draft 8.0. Pretty happy with this one, but we will be throwing a lot more spaghetti at the wall here in the near future. Probably another mock draft in a week. Thank you to BetUS for powering this video. I will see you guys later with more videos. Remember, stream tonight. Go Hawks.